What's up, guys? Welcome back to Team Solemn Circus Live video. On the left side here, we have Mermail Altantean going up against White Forest Azamina on the right side here. Before we dive into the like, comment, shop, touch on a lot, we're going to be seeing the White Forest deck end up in the die roll. It's going to be huge for the White Forest deck as, you know, if the Atlantean deck ends up going first, chances are you're just not winning that game. We're going to be seeing a toy box going to be activated, one of the cards that we are going to be seeing the White Forest deck using quite a bit. Now, this is not great into Detonator, of course, just negating the toy box and taking up a lot of cards in the main deck. But when it does pop off, it's going to be quite good here. So we're going to be seeing the toy box setting 2 of the toy cards from the deck. And then we're going to go for Deception or Diabell Star here, sending the copy of one of the toy boxes. Our toy card here, Toy Soldier, which can then set us the copy of Deception. Then Toy Soldier will summon itself back out from the graveyard here. And then we're going to get the effect to allow us to add a light spellcaster, which is going to be, I believe, the copy of the Silvera here, or the Rulecia, but I believe it is the Silvera, Sylvie here. So we're going to be seeing them normal summon and activate the effect, allowing us to search for one of the White Forest spells, and then activate Deception, and then Deception can send the copy of the set of the Diabell to the graveyard to allow us to search for the Hallowed Azamina. We're going to see the Hallowed Azamina activate the effect, sending the Deception to allow us to summon out a copy of the Bat. The Bat check's going to activate, allowing us to search for a Sinful Spoils card, most likely being a copy of the Wanteds. There is other Sinful Spoil cards we can search for in our deck, including the Alzette of the Sinful Spoils, being a White Forest Azamina card. Absolutely crazy card. This card is just like searchable off of anything here. We're going to go for the effect of the Hallowed Azamina, add back from the field, and then we do summon out the copy of Alzette, and then we're going to be synchro summoning up into the Ultra, I believe it is the Rasilia, with like the nice bat here. This can trigger the effect of her alongside the Alzette in the graveyard of the Azamina to let us search for 2 spells, I believe, or I guess 2 Sinful Spoils cards. We get to add 1 White Forest, and we're going to send the toy tank from our field with the Rosilia. So we're going to add the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, and then we are going to be able to add 1 White Forest card or a Light Spellcaster. We're going to add the Trap We're going to add the Trap White Forest card here alongside the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest off the Azamina. So we're adding the Trap off the Synchro, and then adding the spell off of the Azamina. Then we get to summon with the toy box once again here. Then we're going to go for the toy tank effect, allowing us to tag out, essentially sending us out the graveyard to summon out the copy of the Alzette Azamina. And then we can synchro summon away once again for the big one here. This we're going to activate the effect, allowing us to send to, or we're to add back a trap, or add back a spell here, which is going to be Deception. Deception is not going to be a great one to send, but we are going to be able to activate the effect of it. We're going to activate it, and then we can activate the effect of the Hallowed Azamina sending itself once again, allowing us to summon with the Silvera. That way it can reset itself again during the end phase of this turn. Then we're seeing the Rulecia summon itself out. We're going to be then activating the effect, allowing us to send a spell to the graveyard, allowing us to draw a card. That spell is going to be one of the White Forest spells, allowing itself to be set from the graveyard because it was discarded off a monster effect here. Then we're going to be seeing the Alzette summon herself out by sending the Trap, which can then reset itself out again, and we also search. And you guys can just see how this snowballs off. We're going to be going up now into an SP here. And yeah, they do know what the spells and traps is. We're going to be seeing the level 4 putting back from the extra deck, allowing us to summon itself out. And then we're going to go up into a Dweller here. And Dweller is going to be insane against Mermail, essentially making them not be able to play it completely here. So we're going to see them just scoop it up there, realizing the game is going to be lost. I mean, that's kind of the issue when you're playing at a locals. Like, normally you're not going to be seeing this at a regionals or a YCS level event. Like, you don't just make a blind Dweller. Now, blind Dweller is really good if you're playing like Rise when you're making multiple like rank 4s. But like, when you're playing against a local deck like this, like, you know most likely what they're doing. I suppose what else you're going to do with those level 4s, you'd probably end up keeping some of them in the hand to kind of play like with next turn, stuff like that. But it is just like, if you can win, you just win. And so many decks right now are able to like not play through Dweller. Like, it does make sense sometimes to just make the Dweller blind, and then like they still don't, air quotes, know what you're playing. Like, you can just scoop it up, you could be playing something else. But like, we see here that they had like Atlantean sleeves on the field, or Atlantean sleeves here. No hand traps, like that's most likely an Atlantean hand themselves. They don't play that many hand traps. I think they're like 6 or 9, so not very much. We're going to be seeing also one of Abyss Spike in Game 2, sending one of the newer ones to the graveyard here. I honestly, some of these cards look exactly the same, especially in that QCR rarity. Like, I'm not even sure what to do here. We're going to be seeing Imperm on the Abyss Spike. They do chain a crossout on that, making it seem pretty important here that this does resolve. Then we're going to be seeing a Shadow Squad being searched. We're going to see the Poseidra send a Shadow Squad to summon itself out. And then we're going to be seeing itself summon out the Prince from the deck. Then we're going to be seeing Print as well as Shadow Squad, I believe, trigger. One's going to dump for cost, and then we add. We're dumping the Dragoon. And we're going to be adding the level 7, I think it is. Or level 4, I'm not exactly even sure. We're going to add, okay, yeah, we add. And then we're adding the Minstrel here. So then we're going to add 50 effective Minstrel, sending to the graveyard to allow us to look at their hand. And we see a Talents Toy Box, a Deception, and we get rid of the Deception there. And we do see a Droll, Ash in their hand, in their deck. Another Droll, looks like, and Perm as well. So we are playing a little bit more hand traps than I thought we were. But we're going to be seeing another one of the Poseidras being searched. I should learn Water a little bit better. I don't exactly know what the deck does. But it's a pretty good deck. We are thinking on this. Like, we know they have talents in the hand. And can we play through that? Like, if we can go for a Barrier Lock, we're going to be essentially just gaming. Essentially, a Barrier Lock with a Toad on the field. Like, it's going to be just game right there. So we're going to go Link away into the Sea. The Sea's going to bring back the Shadow Squad. We're going to discard a crossout for the Shadow Squad. And then we're going to be turning them into the whatever level this is. I think they turned into a level 7. And then we can overlay. They're going to be seeing the level 7 being summoned out once again. We're going to go up into now the new one here. And then we're going to be linking those away for the new Link 3. That's going to summon back out a whole bunch. Summoning back out the Minstrel, the Shadow Squad alongside another Prince. Then we get to mill cards here. Or take a second to read these cards, and we should be probably reading them as well. But yeah, so we're going to add back one to the bottom of the deck. And then are we summoning here? What's going on? And we're letting them just go full combo. Yeah, so we summon on one out here from the graveyard, okay. And then we're going to be able to search for a Prince once again. We look like we have a whole bunch of synchros in the extra deck. I know they make Toad quite often here, but we're going to be synchroing away perhaps. From Madonna. And that's going to allow us to once again summon out from the deck. So we're summoning out a copy of the Barrier statue here. A pretty good card, and we're going to be reorganizing the zones. It doesn't really matter. We have nothing to kind of trying to stop this here, so it's not going to, the zone difference doesn't really matter. It just protects, because we can't, like, if we open up Imperm, we're going to protect that. We're going to go up into now the old one here. The Link 2 for the Mermail. This was released a bit ago. And we don't back it up with a toe, but we're just going to pass turn on that. And it's going to be pretty decent if they don't have a way to kind of beat that barrier statue. I hope they ban the barrier statue. I hope they ban every single one of them so there's never really like a deck that kind of abuses it. I know that before we saw like the earth one being abused a bit with like the Vernisylphs, and now like the water deck being able to use it as well. Like I just think that it's just easier if they ban all 6 copies of them. Even like the light was used at one point in some random combo, and the dark one was used in Chimera as well. So like they all have been used other than like the Pyro one, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Maybe Pyro was used in Volcanics, but it's funny when you think about it, like how like only the wind one's banished, or only wind one is kind of gone, and like we've had decks that use every single one. None of them have used them like Flu has used them, but it's still crazy. So we're going to be seeing the Glacier summon itself out, and then we're going to go for the effect, allowing us to search for the level 4 main one, and then we get to summon out another one of the level 7s beside it, which you can then dump the goons once again. And we just scoop it up, realizing the game is going to be lost. There's not that much we can do about that there. Having to deal with a barrier statue is just kind of rough. Alongside, like, they just swarm the field. And they know our entire hand. They're most likely not going to be playing into effect of a talents. It's just, like, very rough for us. Not to mention, they could be more. I don't even know. The water deck is a deck that I do not know. The only deck in the format that I'm like, I have barely any clue what these cards do. You play any deck in the format, I most likely know most of the cards, including like Red Eyes and random stuff like that, like Galaxy Eyes coming up. I know those cards too. Shout out to Raph and JC. But honestly, the water cards are just the cards I just do not know. I know like some of them, like Abyss Spike. Obviously, you hit that. I know where to hand trap the deck. I know that like one of them bounces 3 cards as well, but other than that, I don't exactly know what these cards do. Like a lot of them just merge together, especially looking so far from a screen. Like it's just like they just summon one, dump one, summon one, dump one, dump one, dump one, add, droll effect. That's all I gotta say. Droll effect. But yeah, I definitely should learn the water deck. It's not a deck that I should be like us avoiding, because if I do play against it at like a YCS or regionals, I want to be able to counter the deck and know what the cards are going on, like know when to hand trap and know if they're playing the lines correctly or if they're just like comboing, freestyling here. But yeah, definitely a deck that I should learn. I don't think I'd ever play the deck, which is why it's kind of like problematic for me to want to learn the cards, because I have zero interest in playing the deck. But it's still a deck that like is a real thing, and don't think it gets worse at any time. Like obviously Shifter and Dweller are really good cards against it, but I don't think it's a deck that actually like gets significantly worse at any point. It's kind of like Christian, where like the deck is going to be a forever deck coming in and out of the format, depending on if it's good. And honestly, that enough is a deck that like you should learn it just for the fact that it can come in and out and you can play against it. And so I definitely think that I should learn the cards. I'll learn it most likely before the YCS or at the YCS, I guess. But it really was a last card on like our last deck on my list to kind of learn. Now I really should do like a tier list, I guess, every time a set releases. Like I should do a tier list as soon as the May set drops as well. Talking about like the meta decks, the format, and stuff like that. Maybe doing some like what cards you should play, your hand traps, and what your like board breaker cards, or why you should play this stuff. Like discussion type videos with like maybe some tier lists. Let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see that kind of content there. I definitely want to like branch out into other stuff. But diving back into Game 3, which is what you guys are here for, we're going to be seeing the Sylvie being normal summoned here, which can allow us to search. I believe that's how this one goes. I'm going to make sure here. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it searches for any of the... Oh, come on. I'm trying to pull up the deck. So yeah, we're going to be seeing them search for the trap here. And it is the Sylvie. It adds 1 white forest spell or trap, adding the Beware. And this is not the best normal summon, I should say. I mean, it's one of the better normal summons, but we have to have other stuff to kind of continue off playing with it. So we're going to be seeing one of the other spells, which is going to allow us to now search our deck. It is, I believe, the one that is, if you control an illusion or spellcaster, you add 1 white forest monster from your deck to your hand, which is pretty important. So we do have the normal summon that, which adds a trap. So we go to add the Elzette here. And like you can see how this deck also gets hit with Droll. So like Droll is pretty good in this format right now. You know, it's very good against Blue Eyes. It's good against the water deck and getting some of the different road decks. But yeah, if you guys haven't watched the channel lately, you can see that Droll kind of takes in card. It's going to get some Mizuguri deck as well here. So we're going to see the Elzette dumping the trap, summoning herself out, and then we're going to be able to search as well as trap and reset itself. But yeah, we're going to be searching for the Roselia, and the trap will set itself now. We are going to chain Full Roast to this, and then another Full Roast there. And we don't Ash this, even though we have one Ash in the hand. We might just pass turn on it, honestly. Not wanting to give them multiple draws. The trap is pretty decent. It's someone and then immediately Synchro Summon. So like they can just, pass turn on that and then Synchro Summon during their opponent's turn. But we're going to go for the effect to summon itself out. And like they have 4 cards in the hand for top deck. And we have like Ash Imperm. I think we have Ash Imperm. But yeah, we have the toy. We're going to send to the graveyard to draw one. Then we're going to be able to summon itself out. The tank here. So we have Imperm, Ash, and then 2 other cards. So we are pretty safe here. If we want to just like pass. Now we don't want to give them additional 2 cards if we do go up into anything else, because that's going to be replacing their hand completely. I feel like we just pass. Like it'd be pretty safe with our Imperm Ash with 3 other cards in hand when they have to like discard a bunch of different stuff. So we're going to think on this. And we go up into a Dweller. I mean, Dweller for 2 cards can be a pretty fair trade. I give them 2 cards to essentially get a Dweller. We're going to go up into, then when letting them draw 2, we're going to discard the White Forest Sinful Spoils, allowing this to add the Azamina Elzette, and then we're going to be resetting that as well. That's crazy. We're going to go from numerous draws here, giving them another 2 draws for a Dweller. They better have an Imperm in the hand. We're going to set our Imperm ourselves and just pass turn on this. That's crazy. That's crazy. We're going to see XYZ Encore going to be activated here on the Dweller, and that's enough. Like that's going to be essentially the same thing as an Imperm. I honestly wouldn't have given them 4 draws. I would have just passed turn on that. We have the trap, like summons out another one. Book of Moon on their board. We have Imperm Ash. I would be pretty confident with that, honestly. I'm not going to lie. Having them on 4 cards, having Imperm Ash and like a Book of Eclipse, that's pretty good to me. We're going to see them go for a Search of Shadow Squad with one of their water monsters here. And now they have so many cards in the hand, they're going to be able to continue playing, like no joke. We're going to be seeing now the level 7 can activate, sending the copy of Shadow Squad to the graveyard. And that's going to summon itself out. And we do think on if we're going to be changing this. We do not. I'll take a second to read this card here. But yeah. We're to dump. Why are you putting it back and reading it so much? Read the card. And it's going to send one to the graveyard. It's going to pop their trap. Okay. So they're explaining what's happening here. Okay. Because I do not. So that card's going to go to the graveyard here. We're going to flip up the Beware, which can allow them to immediately summon out from their deck. And then Synchro Summon to one of their monsters here. And we're going to go for the Elzette Azamina. Then we're going to go up into a level 10 Synchro. Unfortunately, not Barone, because it is going to be banned. But we go up into the level 10. And that's going to activate the effect, allowing us to add back after the water resolves. They're going to summon out one of their ultis. I think this is Dragoons being summoned. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, this does summon a Synchro from the extra deck, which is pretty cool. But we're going to go for the effect now to summon themselves out. And then we get to add one because we used it for a synchro material. So we're going to be seeing like summon out and then search, which is pretty cool during our opponent's turn. Search for a Sinful Spoils card. So we're going to search for the Saint Azamina, I believe. The main deck one, which is a Sinful Spoils. I'm not exactly sure what this one does. I know that I own one. I picked it up because of the lore implications, but I don't exactly know. So I'm going to take a second to read this. So it's Queen Azamina. That's always treated as a Sinful Spoils card. If the card is in your hand or fields from the graveyard or banished by activated effect, you can special summon it when an Azamina or White Forest monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle. You can target one Sinful Spoils spell in top graveyard, add it to your hand. So that's a pretty interesting effect, you know, being essentially it's a free special summon out when it's sent to the graveyard off like Deception or whatever, or off your Diabell Stars. But we're going to see them now to be searching for a Prince, and then we're going to go up into the rank 7. And I'm not exactly sure what's going on with this card that's half in the field, half in the grave. But they're going to activate the effect of the Synchro. It's going to allow them to summon out a Synchro from their extra deck. And then I believe Synchro Summon, but we're going to discard a spell for that. So we're discarding a copy of Wanted. And then we're going to summon out the Book of Eclipse one here. And then that's going to essentially shut off the bounce to like 3, which is pretty cool. We're going to normal summon out the Prince now. And I'm not exactly sure where this is going. And we're seeing the Roselia being able to bounce back to summon itself out. And then we're going to be seeing the effect of Elzette adding herself back to the hand because a light Synchro was summoned. Then we're going to be able to summon out from the hand here. It's going to allow us to, or fuse. Yeah, we can fuse here. So we can use the White Forest Light Spellcaster alongside the Azamina card, which is an illusion to go up into a Sylvia, which is going to be absolutely crazy if we choose to do that here. This is a card that we can go. We also use, and we're going for a Guardian Chimera here. Guardian Chimera can then pop and then draw one. But we're going to just scoop it up there, realizing the game is going to be lost. And we are like super close to time. So we see White Forest end up taking the game there. And with some pretty cool cards, like White Forest of Sinful Spoils is absolutely nutty. Being able to like pop those cards and then drawing. But I actually can't even believe, like, I don't know if I would have given them 4 draws. I feel like that's definitely, it was a bad argument. Like, even giving them 2 draws and passing, I don't know if they had the enemy on, like, the XYZ Encore, but, like, with Imperm, Veiler, or, Ash, Imperm, you can just pass turn, you have the card that special summons out. Like, we were able to go so free with that without giving them any draws. Leaving essentially on 4 cards, and, like, having a card that deals for 2 of them, it'd essentially be so free there. I definitely think that was definitely a misplay on our parts. Regardless, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more content like this. And let me know if you guys want to see more White Forest. I know this deck is very popular in the current like videos. Everyone times I post one of these, people are like all fanboying over the deck, which I think is a really cool deck. It plays very differently, and it's a really neat deck of how it plays. Hope it gets more support in the future. But regardless, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more content for like this. And stay safe. Peace.